A few years ago, I was traveling across the country and found myself in need of a place to stay for a few nights. My main objective was to reach my sister, who was due to give birth that week. Being a college student at the time, I had limited funds and had to find an affordable option. I searched through several options on my phone until I stumbled upon one that caught my eye. The place I found seemed charming and cozy, and the room displayed on the website looked absolutely stunning. The best part was the price, only $25 a night. I quickly sent a message to the owner using the provided contact number. Surprisingly, the owner responded almost immediately, confirming that the room was available. Following the directions, I arrived at the address but was taken aback. The actual place bore no resemblance to the picture displayed on the website. Nevertheless, it was late at night, and exhaustion weighed heavily on my eyes. I knocked on the door, and it swung open without hesitation. Standing before me was a woman in her late 40s, wearing a warm smile that invited me inside. She welcomed me with open arms and insisted I have a cup of tea and some homemade banana bread. Despite my weariness, I politely declined, longing only for a comfortable bed and a good night's sleep. I inquired about the guest room, but she waved me off, insisting that I first enjoy her offerings. Although a bit frustrated, her kindness overruled any objections I had. Desperate for rest, I decided to comply. Reluctantly, I took a bite of the bread and a sip of the tea before raising the question once more. This time, her denial was more forceful. Annoyance started to creep in, but I suppressed it, reasoning that she meant well. I obediently consumed the remainder of the food and drink, hoping it would finally lead to me being shown the room. Finally, she gestured toward a dark room. The darkness inside was impenetrable, and I could hardly make out anything. A piercing noise resonated in my head, and the door abruptly shut behind me, plunging me into complete darkness. The next thing I knew, I awoke in the guest bed the following morning. Feeling grateful, I searched for the owner to express my thanks, but she was nowhere to be found. I left the house and got into my car, ready to continue my journey. Upon unlocking my phone, I was bewildered to find a multitude of missed calls and messages, 20 missed calls and 46 messages to be exact. It was highly unusual for me, as I wasn't a popular person who received frequent communication. Curiosity mixed with a sense of unease as I began scrolling through the messages. Most of them were from my mom and sister, filled with worry and desperation. Confusion swirled within me as I delved into the message history. What I discovered was utterly unsettling, enough to make my head spin and my body tremble. The messages contained pictures of me asleep in the guest room, but something was horribly wrong. There was a figure beside me, a presence that shouldn't have been there. It wasn't human. It was something otherworldly. In each photo, the creature had elongated arms wrapped around me, its sharp nails digging into my flesh, holding me tightly. But the most terrifying image of all was the last one, a grotesque, gaping mouth, wide open, as if ready to devour me whole. Years have passed since that fateful night, and nobody has noticed the truth. Nobody knows that I am no longer the daughter, sister, and friend they once knew. Inside the depths of my stomach, I carry the darkness of an unknown entity, a sinister presence that has consumed my very essence. It feeds off my life force, my thoughts, and my emotions. I am a vessel for its malevolence, trapped in a perpetual state of despair. Unable to comprehend the horror captured in those images, I felt my sanity teetering on the edge. How could I have been so oblivious to the danger lurking within that seemingly innocent house? I realized that the kind woman who had welcomed me was merely a facade, a disguise for the malevolent force that awaited unsuspecting guests. Haunted by the disturbing truth, I frantically sought answers. I delved into ancient folklore and dark legends, searching for any semblance of understanding. The more I learned, the clearer it became I had fallen victim to a creature known as a soul devourer. According to the ancient tales, soul devourers were ancient beings that roamed the earth, preying upon unsuspecting souls. They possessed the ability to manipulate perception, to present an illusion of safety and comfort, while concealing their true intentions. Once lured into their trap, their insidious power would consume their victims, leaving only an empty shell behind. Realizing that I was a mere vessel for this malevolent entity, I sought ways to sever the connection. Desperate for a solution, I reached out to individuals knowledgeable in the occult, searching for someone who could help me break free from this sinister grasp. After numerous dead ends and false promises, I finally encountered a reclusive occultist known as Professor Ashcroft. Professor Ashcroft had dedicated his life to studying and combating supernatural entities. With a mix of skepticism and hope, I approached him, revealing my desperate plight. He listened intently, his eyes filled with a combination of sympathy and determination. Together, we embarked on a treacherous journey to rid me of the soul devourer's grip. Professor Ashcroft conducted ancient rituals, employing rare artifacts and incantations that he had gathered throughout his years of research. Each step we took brought us closer to unraveling the mystery behind my entrapment. Through our efforts, we discovered that the soul devourer was vulnerable to certain ancient relics. With newfound hope, we sought out these artifacts, facing perilous trials and encountering other supernatural forces along the way. Time seemed to stretch endlessly as we raced against the encroaching darkness within me. Finally, armed with the necessary tools and knowledge, Professor Ashcroft performed a complex ritual to sever the connection between me and the soul devourer. The process was agonizing, as the entity fought fiercely to maintain its grip on my soul. Yet, with Professor Ashcroft's expertise and my sheer will to survive, we succeeded. As the soul devourer's hold weakened, I felt a surge of energy and renewed purpose. The darkness that had consumed me slowly receded, replaced by a sense of freedom and relief. I had cheated death's grip and emerged from the clutches of the supernatural. Since that fateful encounter, I have dedicated my life to protecting others from the malevolent forces that lurk in the shadows. I've become a hunter of the supernatural, seeking out those who fall victim to their insidious machinations, just as I once did. Every night, as I traverse the darkness, my mind drifts back to that cozy house and the deceptive smile of the soul devourer. It serves as a reminder that evil can lurk where we least expect it, that appearances can be deceiving. But armed with knowledge and the will to fight, I vowed to stand against the darkness, ensuring that no more innocent lives fall victim to the clutches of the supernatural. In the years that followed, I honed my skills as a supernatural hunter, training tirelessly to protect others from the lurking darkness. I sought out ancient texts and sought guidance from seasoned experts, expanding my knowledge and arsenal against the supernatural threats that plagued our world. Throughout my journey, I encountered various creatures and faced unimaginable dangers. Each encounter tested my courage and resolve, but I remained steadfast, fueled by the memory of the soul devourer and the lives it had claimed. Word of my exploits spread within the hidden circles of the supernatural. People sought my help, desperate for salvation from the terrors that haunted them. I became a beacon of hope for those trapped in the clutches of darkness, offering them a chance to reclaim their lives. However, the soul devourer's influence was far-reaching, and its malevolence continued to spread. I dedicated myself to tracking down its origins, determined to put an end to its reign of terror once and for all. My investigations led me deep into the annals of ancient folklore and forgotten rituals. I discovered whispers of an ancient ritual that could banish the soul devourer from our realm forever. It required a convergence of rare celestial events and the combined strength of individuals who had been touched by darkness, but had managed to break free. with a team of fellow survivors, each scarred by their own encounters with the supernatural, I set out on a perilous quest to gather the necessary components for the ritual. Together, we faced treacherous trials, braved haunted landscapes, and battled formidable creatures that stood in our way. As the fateful night of the celestial convergence arrived, we stood at the threshold of the Soul Devourer's lair place where nightmares became reality. Armed with ancient artifacts and the knowledge passed down through generations, we confronted the creature that had haunted my dreams for so long. A battle ensued, a clash of light against darkness, as we fought with every ounce of strength and determination we possessed. The Soul Devourer, sensing its impending demise, unleashed its full wrath, but we remained resolute, refusing to yield to its malevolent power. In a final act of sacrifice, we channeled our combined energy, binding the creature within a cage of pure light. With the ritual completed, the Soul Devourer's presence dissipated, vanishing into oblivion. Its reign of terror had come to an end. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief, unaware of the horrors that had lurked in the shadows. The survivors, my companions in this harrowing journey, went their separate ways, carrying the scars and memories of their encounters, but we shared a bond of shared understanding of the darkness we had faced and conquered. As for me, my journey continued. Armed with newfound knowledge and experience, I ventured into the unknown, forever vigilant against the encroaching darkness. I would not rest until every innocent soul was protected from the malevolent forces that sought to devour them. And so I remained a hunter of the supernatural, a guardian of the night, committed to preserving the fragile balance between the realms of light and darkness. For as long as evil existed, I would stand firm, a beacon of hope for those lost in the shadows, ensuring that the world remained safe from the clutches of the supernatural.